you know that I'm a golfer. That just means I do it. It doesn't mean I'm good at it. But I tend to golf with people who are very good. I have one friend who's beyond very good and who's played with a lot of really good players. And is always perfectly attired, the most expensive and perfect clothes, and has the most expensive and perfect equipment, and plays really well. But the first time that I went out golfing with this person, I noticed something. This person cheats. I may not be good at golfing, but I know all the rules. And I suspect one of the rules is you're supposed to count all your strokes. I suspect another one of the rules is I don't think you're allowed to pick up the ball and move it to a slightly more favorable place so that you can do better. I'm exactly the opposite. I count every single stroke. I take the shot no matter how hard it is. I think it's the stubbornness in me, so that at the end of the day, I may not have the best score, but I figure at least it's giving me a true picture of what my skill level really is, how good I really am at a thing, and where I need to improve. And I think lest we think that cheating or not following all the rules is only confined to sporting. How many of you heard the story that I heard on the news last week when I was away about the priest who got stopped speeding? Yes. Yes. I'm always thinking, will they give me a ticket when they catch me? This person was speeding, and where were they going? To a funeral. So they were speeding up the 400 and they got stopped. And there was a lot of controversy. Should they get a ticket? Should they not get a ticket? Now, those of you who heard the story know the answer. How many people think the priest, on his way to a funeral, should get a ticket for speeding? How many people think the priest should not get a ticket on the way to a funeral for speeding? You're a good man. I hope you stop me when I'm speeding up the highway. The priest, in fact, did get a ticket. Why?
He didn't follow the rules.
He didn't follow the rules. It's the law. We can't dress up and pretend to be a thing, but not follow all the rules of being that thing. We can't pretend to be a sports expert, but not follow all the rules of that sport. We can't pretend to be a priest and expect to get off by breaking the law. Any more than we expect to be a lawyer or any other profession and pretend that if we just fool with the figures or we just change this or that, it's okay. Because we have a knowledge of the rules. If we didn't know them, we would be constantly looking for a way around them. And the story in Amos today is all about people who call themselves religious and like to follow some of the rules, but like to interpret them in their best interests. He talks about the fact that in this time, the gap between the wealthy and the poor is getting greater. He talks about the fact that there are many people who call themselves religious and who are absolutely religious about following all the festivals, keeping the Sabbath, paying their tithes, going to the temple, offering sacrifice. But they're always asking themselves, is the Sabbath over yet? Can I get back to my regular behavior? Can I start cheating people? Is my religious observance finished now so I can go back to being my real self? And what did that real self look like in those times? Well, it looked like people who traded with the poor, and instead of giving them a full measure of corn, an ephah, which was about 8 gallons of corn, would maybe kind of shave a little off. But when the people went to pay for the corn, as they weighed out their payment because they didn't have coins, they used a shekel as a balance, and your gold or silver had to balance. Maybe they put a little finger on the back back on the scale so that people had to pay more. And when they offered people wheat, they didn't offer them the best of the grain. They threw in some sweepings so that people wouldn't notice that they consistently oppressed those people who had the least power to act against them. And Amos warns those people that at some point in their life, they will become so comfortable in cheating others, in skirting the law, in modifying the law to suit themselves, that soon they won't know the difference. They won't be able to discern what is appropriate behavior from what is not, because God will some point become absent from their consideration. God will simply, he says, disappear from their lives. Because for these people, religion is only important if it doesn't hinder their everyday activities. Religion is only important if it doesn't impinge on real life, on their business, on their commercial life, on their wealth. Religion is okay for a certain amount of time, but they just don't want it overflowing into their everyday existence. So soon their everyday existence, Amos warns them, will become absent of God, and they won't even know what right behavior looks like. And we're warned about this by Paul as well when he says, you have the power to be better. Jesus lives in you, but you have to consistently access that power to be better. You have to be faithful. It's available to you only if you choose to tap into it and choose to do the right thing. We can't do it on our own because we're all subject to temptation. But Paul says to the Colossians, who are thinking of an alternate religion at this time, who are coming up with some new rules for their church that weren't really in line with the gospel. He says to them, Jesus lives in you. You don't need to modify that, change it up, make it less challenging, make it easier. You simply have to access the power of Jesus Christ who lives in you. But he warns them, and I want you to look at this because it's an interesting and important sentence. Provided that you continue securely established and steadfast in the faith without shifting from hope. We can't ever think, today's an okay day, maybe not to be so Christian, maybe not to be so faithful. Maybe in this one instance I can access my worst nature and I'll worry about it tomorrow. Because Paul warns us, as the prophet Amos does, if we aren't careful, what is a one-time thing becomes another thing and another thing, and soon we lose the power to access the right because we've become so overcome by the wrong. Morality isn't just a convention or something good people do. It's a principle by which God desires the universe to run. And we have to always be aware that sometimes it's not the most pleasant choice. Nobody wants to get a triple bogey on their hole and they can pretend they got a birdie. Nobody wants to drive within the speed limit and be late. And if they just amended their behavior and left earlier, it could have just been on time. It's always easier to do the wrong thing. But at some point we might find ourselves so far down that rabbit hole that we can't find our way back. When Jesus contends with Mary and Martha today, and this story really is about Martha, not Mary, he reminds Martha that sometimes in our busyness, in our doing things, we stop thinking about what the mind of Jesus Christ is, and we just think about ourselves. And that's a true of us in the church as it is when we're outside. Sometimes we can become so embroiled in our church activity or our church duty that we can become critical of how others live out their discipleship in the church. We can become critical about how other denominations or how even non-Christians live out their discipleship mission. Sometimes we can be so absorbed in doing what we think we should be doing, we stop listening to the gospel. We stop listening to Jesus. We forget the one thing that is important. It's not ourselves that can save us. It's not our activities or our lies or our deceits that will give us an easy ride. It's the power of Jesus Christ in us, made in the nature and image of God as we are, that is there for us to tap into, to draw out, to lift up. Remember what we say every Sunday morning, in the first call out of the day. What do we say? To you, all hearts are open, all desires are known, and from you, no secrets are hidden. Jesus lives in us. He knows our hearts. Cheating and dissembling will not get us there faster. It sends us in the opposite direction. He knows our needs before we ask. He knows our ignorance in asking. He'll grant our requests as is best for us, so that we grow closer to the kingdom of God, not farther away.